Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Idle Talk Minis.
Why are you whispering?
I'm whispering because usually I kind of talk louder because it's attached to my head. But now I've got a little handy dandy microphone that I speak into now because I saw you doing it, so I needed to do it too.
My bootleg mic?
Yeah, but I didn't want to
Dave and
do
Buster
exactly
card?
the same thing you did because
Yours is
that's
more
your
official.
thing. That's
Yours
your
is more
thing.
official.
And mine, I just feel like I needed to just get my own thing, you know? So maybe I thought it would be a cool bit if you just switched up your little Dave and Buster's card every so often, just so people see.
I don't want to ruin any
the
other card.
difference. No, but I'm saying you can just do anything.
I don't give a fuck about this card. So,
You don't be going to Dave and Buster's, bro?
not as often. I feel like I have like $20 on this that I did. or
Word?
Like
That's a lot.
$20 to use on games.
That's like 5 games.
yeah,
You know, that's a
but I never used it. So
that's a
that's why I
quite bit of
keep it around.
games. But we just finished watching Bad Batch.
Bad Batch season 3.
Season 3, episodes 1, 2,
Two,
and
and
3.
three. Yep.
Surprisingly, they released 3 episodes at once. Typically, it's 2. 2 episodes. One really long first episode, and then a normal second
This
episode.
time the first one was like 10 minutes longer than the other two.
I
Usually
feel-
it's like an hour.
I know, but the first one felt like it wasn't really an episode.
It's more of a recap showing you like everything
Like what
was
happened,
left off. Yeah.
what we missed. Then we had a big ass time jump in that one.
Yeah, I don't know where.
Not even like that big, but it was just like fucking like 40 days or something like
Yeah,
that.
it was like a few months or some shit.
Probably maybe like a rotation. Or
Yeah.
whatever they call a
A
few
rotation
months.
in Star Wars.
Yeah, whatever that means in that show. But I mean, episode 1 wasn't too bad. Wasn't too good. It was just setting us up for, I guess, episode 2
Yeah, it was setting
and
us
3.
up, showing us what Dr. Hemlock has been doing.
Dr.
which-
Hemcock.
Which, by the way, we've been right since season
Since
1.
day
and
one.
Mando, too, because I think they were trying to do the same thing with Baby Yoda at one point,
They were
right?
trying to.
They were
Grogu.
trying to take his blood to clone him to
clone
make a
him.
body for Palps.
They probably moved on to Grogu because they probably failed with Omega.
No.
No, they
got
probably.
they got a whole sample.
I know, but they probably needed her whole body because they were gonna kill Baby
Yeah,
Yoda.
I know.
To do it.
Yeah.
So maybe spoilers for the season. Maybe Omega dies in some way or another. Maybe she gets clapped by accident. They're like, "Fuck!
And they
How are
use
we
her.
gonna clone the Emperor?" And
Well,
then
we know
Hemlock
the Emperor
dies.
does clone himself.
He does eventually. But is it with Grogu? Is it with Omega? A combination of the two? Is it with another being
Yeah.
that we haven't seen at all yet? Who knows, really? And that's the beautiful part. We know the ending. We know kind of the beginning.
Yes.
But we're in this place in
The middle.
where we're still figuring out how we ended up from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, kind of. Kind of.
At this, I fuck with the fact that we're like filling in all the like plot holes that the new movies added, but I also don't like the fact that the new movies added so many plot holes,
So many plot holes.
that we have to like fill in. But
Maybe we're just not seeing the vision.
maybe
we're
but
not
I don't
seeing
think
it.
anyone had that. I don't. I'm gonna be real with you. I don't think they had the idea of bringing him back until they brought him back for that last movie, and now I think everyone in the Star Wars franchise is now having to work around that.
The fact that they did
That
that.
they brought him back, right? Because throwing someone off a spaceship, it's kind of.
You mean into the Death Star's reactor?
That's what I'm saying. Like it's kind of finite that you're dead, right? And then to bring him back for that last movie, and then the excuse was, "Ooh, dark magic," in the movie because they didn't know any other way.
I
It's
think
kinda shitty.
in the novelization or something, or in a comic book, it was like thrown in that his like, do I want to say soul, his force essence, jumped out
I don't
after
know,
he
man.
died.
That's what I'm saying. Like you see how many
I don't
backwards
know.
things we had to do just to explain that one thing. and
Well, I
now-
feel like it was kind of explained, and
Yeah.
then we made everything legends and not canon anymore. And so now they're trying to make their own canon in a way that's supposed to make sense.
yeah,
But along the way, we probably lost our vision with, what was it, episode 8? Well,
but on the bright side, now we know that technically Rey is a clone.
is she?
Technically,
Maybe.
she is right because if you
I
think
don't
about
know.
it, if they use Omega's genetic code to then
Her
make
thing turned gold.
right, if they use her genetic code to then make a clone for Palpatine, who then becomes his son, right?
Is his son a clone? We don't know nothing
His
about
son
the
is a
right?
clone, yes.
Is it of him?
In the book for the Rise of Sky, was it the Rise? Which is the one that we see her parents on the planet with the sand? whatever fucking movie it was.
The Force Awakens.
Yeah, whichever one
with
it
the
was.
flashbacks.
Yeah.
When and then she gets abandoned.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Force Awakens.
And like the book that came with it, it says that that her father is a Palpatine clone, and that's why.
I did not know it said it was a clone.
No, it was the one that they didn't like, where like Luke threw his saber away.
Yeah.
What movie is that one?
What do you mean threw it? Oh, in episode 8 when he
and
takes
just tosses it,
and then he went off the cliff.
Yeah. In that movie is when they explain that like Palpatine tried to clone somebody, but it wasn't successful 100%. So therefore, his son has midichlorians, but he wasn't able to wield the Force
like him.
Yes. So then, but then his son had a natural birth with a random woman in the world who's because his son is technically just a genetic clone of himself.
And he just raised as a son.
Yeah. And I guess Omega's genetic makeup. And then they have Rey. And then it turns out in the third movie that Rey's related to him because of all this stuff, right? So which means technically Rey is kind of related to Omega and all the clones,
Rey's
right?
a
And Rex and all the other
byproduct of
ones.
a clone?
Huh?
Rey's a byproduct of
a clone, yeah. If that's the way that we're going, which it looks like we are, they could change it midway. I don't know. They could just use Grogu's instead. But seems.
Are we going that way?
It seems like they're gonna use Omega's
blood,
genetic makeup to then explain Snoke and his son and Rey and all this other stuff.
So you think Snoke is his son too? What if that's like
not his son?
What if that's like his bastard son? He's like, yo.
If you consider all the clones Jango Fett's kids, then yes, Snoke is.
You ever
Palp's
seen
son.
that Christmas meme where they're getting Jango Fett a bunch of Christmas presents, the clones?
No,
and they're sitting around like a little Christmas tree.
And there's a bunch of them.
Yeah,
it's just him.
Yeah, it's just him and Boba.
But if you believe that all the clones are Jango's kids, just like Boba is his kid, just because genetic makeup, not actual, then yes. Snoke is technically Palpatine's.
Jango's his kid because he calls him his kid. I think that was the intent behind. He's like, "This is my child. I need a."
Do you think Snoke knew he was a clone? Because we never. Snoke died so fast in the third trilogy.
We didn't learn anything about
He was like
Snoke.
a villain, and then he got murked.
Murked easily.
And then we find out in the next movie that he wasn't even actually like that big because there's like a bunch of them in a tank. Do you think he knew he was a clone, or do you think he was like? Have you ever seen those video games of Star Wars where you're playing as a clone and they don't know that they're a clone?
You mean the Force Awakens?
Yeah.
I mean,
The
Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed too.
Yeah. Where like you
Where
play
he
as
finds
a
out
clone
later.
of the original. Yeah. Do you think that's how it was for Snoke, or do you think he knew he was a clone for Palp and he was just following in his like idea or his plan to resurrect himself?
He was like, "Listen, you're supposed to be me, but you're not me. You're you. So be you." And then Snoke was like, "Fuck it, I'm me." Cause like, if you knew you were a clone of somebody and you're clearly not that person,
Yeah.
wouldn't that make you feel slap away? Like
No.
you were that fucked up. Like, cause Snoke was ugly. I mean,
Extremely.
Palpatine is ugly,
Palp is ugly as shit though.
but Snoke was
I think
like,
Snoke is
Snoke
more
was like-
attractive than Palp though, and Eddie was taller.
That's crazy.
Eddie was taller.
Bro, look like
He'd get the biddies
bro
compared to
looked
Palp.
like Kaminoan. And you're like,
He did look kind of Kaminoan,
of
but he looked better than Palp. Palp looked like a ball sack, bro. Palp
Snoke looked like just an elongated ball sack.
but he's a tall
They
ball
both
sack.
ball sacks.
But women
I mean,
like
according to
taller
women,
men.
the
That's what
taller
I'm
woman
saying.
would be
Snoke
more
would have gotten
attractive.
played, bro, in Star Wars just for being tall, and he was drippy. Remember that gold cloak he was wearing?
That gold cloak, yeah.
Snoke was drippy.
So, I think he knew he was a clone.
Yeah.
Or he was supposed to be a clone and it didn't work out. And then Pal was like, you know what? I could use you for something else if you're trying to be on my team. And Snoke was like, hell yeah, I'm trying to be on your team. And then they became buddies. And then he got killed immediately.
By Kylo Ren.
By Kylo Ren, who was supposed to be the second coming of Darth Vader.
Yeah. And what? Do you know the original storyline for his character that he like told in an interview recently?
No,
And why he doesn't want to revisit that character?
Break it down for us.
So originally, when he was casted for the role with J.J. Abrams, the whole point of his character was to be the anti-Darth Vader per se, right? It's the fact that it's a kid who was destined to be the light, right, and bring balance to the Force, just like Darth Vader. But Darth Vader, at the end, right, he redeemed himself and he becomes a better person. And Kylo Ren's whole story arc was supposed to be he seems to be redeemable every time, but he just goes deeper and deeper. So he's the opposite of Darth Vader. Instead of coming to the light side because of all the things, he just kept going lower. He was supposed to be the main bad guy eventually, right?
Yeah.
But they completely changed it and then made him into like confused. Like at the end of the first
It's a
movie, when he
edgy
kills
Kylo
when he
Ren.
kills his father at that end of that movie, that was supposed to be a turning point for his character to become more evil, right?
Yeah.
But then when they handed it off to another director, he wanted to do something else, and then they switched it
Now
to
we
be
could say
more
his
of a
name,
more.
bum ass Ryan Johnson.
I don't think he's a bum. I just don't think he was right
He's
for
just-
Star
You
Wars.
a bum, bro. How
No,
you
'cause
make
I like
how you make Knives Out?
Yeah, I love Knives Out,
But you fuck up Star Wars.
and I like a lot of his other films,
You
but
fuck up
I
Star
just don't
Wars
think he
like
was
that,
right for Star
Ryan
Wars.
Johnson?
And yeah, so then Ryan Johnson decided to make Kylo Ren a love interest for Rey instead of the villain, and that's what they went with.
He weirder than fucking Quentin Tarantino. At least he's out and about with his foot fetish. I don't know what
Quentin?
kind of I don't know what kind of shit Ryan Johnson was on, but
I don't know, man.
making Kylo Ren a love interest.
But I would have preferred to see Kylo Ren be Ultimate Evil Man.
That would have been sick with the
Yeah.
fiery blade and
Yeah,
shit.
yep.
I would like to see him just because you know how he killed Snoke.
Mhm.
I'm like, just kill Palp too while you're at it, and then like fight
But
fight.
he didn't
Rey.
even get to fight Pop. He got
He-
pushed off a cliff, and then Ray fought him.
And then Ray had to like force revive.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. The ass pull from the Force Revive was
That's
crazy.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was crazy to me. That was like I was like, since when? Since when was this a thing?
Since that moment,
I
that
was
the
like,
scene
you're telling me this. So there actually was a way to bring people back to life, and
And
Anakin
Anakin
never
didn't know?
learned it. The chosen one never learned it. That's crazy to me.
man.
But whatever.
I mean, probably never. I mean,
she learned it in the cave.
I don't know how.
From a snake.
That's
Remember,
true.
the snake was
Well,
there.
the
The
snake-
snake was her. And she was like, "I save you now, snake."
The snake is supposed to be like the same snake that leads humanity into temptation. So
Good for
maybe-
that. Good for that symbolism, but it's stupid.
I mean, it is stupid. Just like how the Bible says Eve was manipulated by a snake.
And fruit.
So is Rey supposed to be Eve?
Mm-hmm.
She supposed to damn humanity?
Maybe.
Is she supposed to damn the Star Wars universe after that, after learning that ability? We still don't know if there's any given consequences to doing that.
It doesn't
We
seem
haven't.
it. Doesn't seem like it.
And we also haven't revisited that era in a while.
No. We
been-
haven't.
it's been
Ever since
years.
her end, we're supposed to get a movie like continuing,
Rey
but
movie.
now the director got fired recently, so we don't even know.
That's crazy.
It's the girl who did Miss Marvel, the lady who did Miss Marvel. She got the role to direct the Rey film, and then
Got fired.
a lot of backlash,
Sucked
and then
at
got
me.
fired for it because we were like, we do not need. You know what she said in the interview?
What?
She was like, "I'm so happy that I now have the helm of like Star Wars because women are supposed to be like in power in Star Wars." Like she was like basically saying like, "Oh, this is the generation of only women in Star Wars." And then everyone was like, "Get her out of this role, please." And then they fired her.
That's crazy. That they fired her
Yeah.
for that.
Star
But back to
Wars.
the Bad Batch because we went on a tangent. But that's basically episode 1. I guess nothing
Yeah.
worthy to talk about. Episode 2 kicked off with our boys
Yeah, we saw a lot of more of the batch.
bringing a what's that race?
Pike.
A Pike Syndicate,
Syndicate.
member to.
The Durians, what were they called? The durian is a stinky fruit. What were they called? The
I have
rams?
no idea.
The horned people.
The horn people who buy slaves.
Hmm.
So brought them there. They're like, "Yo, I got your mans that embarrassed you in front of us and sit in the bar. Take them. We need that info that you got for us." And then they were like, "Bada bing, bada boom, trade." And then the mom was pretty cool. The mom leader lady.
Yeah.
She was like, "You're lucky I'm giving you this.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky I don't kill you." Because technically that's their fault. The Bad Batch fault. The reason why his little blade got cut off, his
Mm-hmm.
little horn. So that was cool that they give him the horn back. Is he supposed to reattach it?
No.
Like you just keep it in your pocket forever?
I think for that race, it's like,
Once it's gone, it's gone.
yeah, it's like frowned upon. No, I think it will grow back, but I think it's
Nah,
like
because
super
my man
frowned
still
upon.
looked like he got a ball spawn in his head.
He did look like
It didn't grow not
Yeah,
one
you're
little
right.
bit in
You are
the
right.
time that passed.
But I feel like it'd be like nails. I feel like once you cut your nails, they'd grow back eventually.
Eventually, but they don't take that long. I feel like it's been quite a bit of time. Because I feel like that arc was in the middle of the last season, which
season,
was
yeah.
a bunch of episodes of nothing.
I don't know. I don't know how. I don't got a horn, bro. I don't know how horns
I
work.
don't know how horns work either, but basically we saw that guy again from season 2, and he helped us a little bit. Then they go off with this intel, and then they
To find Dr. Hemlock.
Dr. Hemcock and Omega, and they land on this planet, and Fabian's like, "Oh, yo, they're on the planet." I'm like, this doesn't look anything similar to the planet Omega was on. So they're, I guess, on the previous planet that they used to
That the
work
base
on,
was on, yeah.
and they blew up their own base, and we later learn
Why did they blow up the base?
because the Empire was experimenting with nature.
Mm-hmm.
So they made these synthetic
nope creatures.
vine things with its own like brain, and it later I think evolved into like a big
giant sarlacc
creature,
thing, yeah.
like creature.
But it's even more dangerous than a sarlacc because sarlaccs are just stuck in the ground.
In one place, and that thing wasn't moving.
That thing had like branches of itself moving around the whole planet.
world.
Yeah, that
like,
shit's scary.
And he cut a piece of it off,
and it started moving.
It became like a crab, and
it grew legs and it started running around, bro. It was creepy.
That was cool. I like that part. Fabian was like, if that was me, I would have ran.
Yeah, that would have been it for me. If I cut off a leg and then it grew legs and it started, I'd be like, nah, bro, I'm getting back on the ship. No, this ain't it for me.
That was
on this planet.
I like how they keep finding different ways to make more creatures in Star Wars, but our boy Hunter and Wrecker find themselves 3 clone cadets.
Yes, 3 clone children
who are in like that weird awkward stage when they're right about to be an adult, but they're not an adult yet. Apparently, clones take forever to accelerate their aging. It still takes a few years, as we kind of figured out while watching the show. It's been said a few times too. I don't know if it's 7 years to get into fully an adult.
So for 7 years they're kids, and then they're an adult.
No, from baby until they're 7 years old. That's when they're full blown, like.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So in 7 years, they're an adult.
7 years, an adult, which is their accelerated aging.
So, like, when they're, like, 12, it's only been, like, 2 years for them, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, probably. Yeah, because, you're 18,
because those kids look like 12, 13, yeah.
Yeah, so they're even though you did make a good point that Boba was not looking like that when he was that age.
When he was 12, yeah.
But he was also, like, not altered.
Yeah, at all.
So he would have a normal
age rate, yeah.
So we got to see those 2 guys team up with 3 kids, and 2 of them fake as fuck. We're like, yo, they steal their ship
and leave.
And I was telling Fabrian, they did not learn to lock their ship, and then
I
was proven wrong when they broke into the ship because clearly it was locked.
So the reason they were on this planet was because they were trying to find Omega. Base got blown up because of this vine creature
thing.
But then one of the little clone boys tells them that, hey, there is a working console on the base.
Yes,
but there is no power,
and it's covered by the vine creatures.
Big vine guy.
The vine guys.
So they go back to their ship to get Gonki. Their mobile
classic,
battery.
The classic.
Their mobile battery.
We love that guy. The development of that character. I don't even want to say it's a character, but he's his own character now. He used to just be a fucking scrap pile thing.
He used to just be a background character. Yeah, he's just a background character.
Then he started doing noises and walking around. And then at the end of the episode, he was vibing with the crew. He was like shaking his head. They were just talking, having
It's
fun.
like their own personal droid at this point.
I know. It's like their own R2. I like how every generation group that we've seen has a droid. It's like you're not in Star Wars if you got your own droid.
And they always got an animal too. Now they got that dog.
Yeah, they got that dog. They got that dog with them.
Batcher or whatever the hell her name is.
Batcher. So we see them. You see the introduction of Batcher in episode 1.
Yeah.
Omega gives him some chicken nuggies, and he's like, no. And in episode 2, that boy is hurt.
Yeah.
He hurt, or she hurt.
Yeah, it's a she.
She or he is hurt, and them. And they got a little cut in their tail, and is whining, and wants to bite Omega, and she's like, yo.
Chill the fuck out. I'm
trying
to help you.
5 seconds and it'll be done. It's gonna sting and we're good.
I'm trying to help you, dog.
Lets himself get healed, which I thought was nice. And then she later on in the episode helped it escape because they were gonna kill it. They were like, yo,
because originally the bot said it was gonna kill it.
You made it. Your first, it was gonna die because it was injured.
Yep.
Then you want to heal that thing.
And now it's domesticated.
domesticated. Now we gotta kill it. And she's like,
which makes no sense.
Like,
you would think if you trained one of them, you'd want it around more. But they're like, nah.
I feel that way too. I feel like if I was like a commando or something, I'm like, this is my dog right here.
But they're like, nah, we wanted it to be a wild animal. You trained it. Now we gotta kill it.
Well, now we learned when they're wild animals, the fucking dogs still attack the troopers.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And other animals in the jungle. But we'll get there.
Which, by the way. They really talked up that monster in the woods to just get his ass bodied by all the dogs. If I'm being 100% with you,
to be real with
they talked that motherfucker up just to get bodied by all them dogs.
I think they got bodied by all them dogs, and then we don't see any more of the dogs anyway. So I think
they all just died.
No, I think they're probably still fighting to this day. they released the dogs to chase Omega and Crosshair, which we've seen sprinkled in a few moments. He's still
that's an episode. We're still on episode 2, though. I was just jumping ahead.
You jumped ahead, but
like
you know
crazy.
what? That's what we do on this show.
Yeah,
That's
tangent city, baby.
That's why you come to this show. You don't come for the linear content. You come for us talking about
crazy
episode
chaos.
3. Us talking about a whole different set of movies in the first episode of Bad Batch. So yeah, let's just cut to the.
No, I want to. There's something really important that I want to talk about in episode 2. Was it? It's that blood wheel that they kept showing us at one point.
What makes this noise?
So the whole time while Omega has been in this weird lab facility, they've been taking her blood and then all the other clones that are like in this facility's blood to then administer. I think they haven't confirmed it, but it looks like they're putting in Palp's blood and then like mixing it to see if they can get a clone sample that can maintain M count, which is midichlorians, which I know people don't like. The Force.
I think the reason why they call it M count was because they don't want to directly say
They don't want to use the name, but yes. And so we are shown multiple times that anytime Omega's sample is taken to this wheel, Nala Se, which is her
mom,
basically her mother, the person who raised her and literally made her, would delete her sample every time. Every
that
time
shit outta here.
For months she would do it, and then
throw it away.
During episode 2 or 3.
The Emperor pulls up.
Yeah, the Emperor pulls up, and so that way Nala Se can't delete her sample. And then, like I said earlier, it is then revealed that she is genetically compatible with Palp's blood and has M count.
High enough to where it won't, like when you
it
clone
won't fail.
something,
it will die. Yeah, if it has M count.
When you clone something, it's not going to be fully exactly how you make it because it wasn't naturally born with that. And so their whole thing is because we already know Palpatine clones himself successfully.
Yes, correct.
And he's still powerful at the end of episode 9.
But his body is deteriorating.
His body does look like
it's falling apart.
Duper ball sack.
The super duper, it does. To the point that he's like, Ray, I need your body. Give me it.
So that thing that's proof enough that they didn't get a fully functional,
like a perfect copy.
Like transfer over to that.
Yeah.
And so I think the goal is to be exactly as perfect and it won't degrade and it'll be able to handle the midichlorians that he has. And that's the key part is to be able to fully transfer his whole essence and power
because he wants to be in power forever.
A new sustainable body. And then the key after that would be making more of that specific.
Imagine an army of Palps.
I don't even think he'd have an army, to be honest. I think he would just
like an elite force of Palps.
No, he would just have them in a pod. He's like, oh, I'm dying.
Well, that's what he does.
I know,
like an idiot. But I feel like if he was smart, like I was saying earlier, I feel like the Empire is so dumb when it comes to their resources, and especially Palp is an idiot, bro.
I don't think it would work because he would need a brain, and he can't split his brain.
But
into that many things.
Clones still have their own brains. He could train them, and the same way he trained and manipulated Anakin or any other one of his apprentices, he could have raised any one of these clones. Then again, if you think about it, they don't
got that dog in him.
No, I feel like they would immediately betray him because it's him.
It is him.
And they would be just as ambitious as he is, and they would try to kill him.
Or the opposite, where they're not as ambitious, and they're like, I'm out of here.
One of them turns to the light side.
Becomes
a Jedi.
Now he's got his own. Now he got to fight himself. All of a sudden, he's the Yoda replacement. He's like, guys, come on, Jedi.
I messed up, bro.
I could teach you guys
I made
how to
a
beat
Jedi.
me. How to beat me. That would be some weird, like if there was like a what if scenario where one of the clones turned, like one of Palpatine's clones turned to the light side.
It would never happen because Palp keeps them all in tubes.
Exactly.
He's ready for him.
I need a new body.
That's the only time he picks him out.
Give me C. Body C right there. What do you think, like, if he has to choose a body, like, does he do, like, a most recent one or the oldest one just to get out of the way? He's like, all right, we made that.
I feel like he picks whichever one he
12
likes
years ago. Let's use that.
He's like, I like the way this one look. I like that one. I want that one.
Nah, I probably use FIFO, first in, first out. That came out. That was the first batch. All right, bring it in.
Because I feel like they all will eventually deteriorate. Like, they all do. That's why he had so many.
That's why he had a jillion bodies. But back to the Bad Batch. We were doing
We were on episode 2. We were currently at the part where she was healing the dog.
Oh, yeah. No, we were at the part where we talking about Omega getting her blood sample taken and not deleted because the Emperor pulled up and he was like, yo, I'm taking Hemcock and Lama C and I'm getting out of here. You know, we gotta do
He was
the thing.
he came to see what's going on with his
progress.
his plan, his future plans, and he was happy as hell.
He was like, you could have whatever you want.
As long as
shawty.
I get my shit, it's
He's
all
like,
you.
baby girl, you can have whatever you want.
As long as I get my clone.
You're like, you quadrupled expectations.
Say less.
You can have whatever you want.
He wasn't even that forthcoming with the Death Star plans, bro. He didn't give a fuck about the Death
Nah,
Star.
he didn't even give him the budget they needed to fix up the little tiny
the
hole.
little hole. He didn't care, bro. He was like, I don't give a fuck. But this one little girl, he's like, everything.
He's like,
everything you
yo.
need is yours.
He was like, oh yeah, you making progress on my bodies? Bet. He's like, all the resources you could ever want is yours. And he said in the evil tone. And then as soon as he leaves, a
Shit
commando
pop up.
comes
Yeah,
in. He's
shit
like,
pops off. He's like,
yo, they
Omega and
escaped.
Crosser and Crosser are gone. They're not in their cells.
And then he's as soon as the fucking
shit
shuttle
literally-
closed,
yeah.
and started leaving, guys,
all
they
the
escaped.
alarms start going off on the. They were like, yeah. All right, guys, everybody, back to their station. Shit's going on.
We're like, yo, we gotta go. We gotta get him.
And they use batches or batch.
Batcher.
The girls, the little dog thing that she released earlier. Her empty kennel they used
And they dipped.
to get out.
And there's always this moment in this series where people are escaping and then something goes wrong, and we're watching them run through these little spray shields that are popping
like
up.
the ones that like
stop you, or cut you in
Qui-Gon was
half.
like, that was like fighting
And
with.
they're running through there. I'm like, oh, she's gonna get caught in this.
I thought for sure one of them was
And she did it. They made it out.
They both made it out,
perfectly
yeah.
fine. And
then,
so shout out to Omega because
word. She's
been-
been on one.
she's in her bag, bro.
For real.
She's in her bag.
I'm gonna be real with you. Like when they first introduced her, I was like, please show her being trained and like actually learning all these things from these people who she's around, right? Because if they add this character and she's around these elite batch of clones and doesn't learn a damn thing, I would have been so mad, bro. If in season 3 she still couldn't shoot a gun or something, I would have been tight.
I've been like, what the fuck?
Yeah, have y'all been doing
What
this
you
whole time?
doing?
Yeah, but I'm so happy that dude, even without the bow, she was putting work, bro. She was.
Bro,
She was
fucked up a
ducking and
robot.
diving.
She was like,
Yeah, she was.
Bro, she
was
cleared a
on
room?
it. That's what
I
I'm
was
saying.
like-
She cleared a room.
I was like, what the fuck?
It was so sick seeing her use all of the tactics that like the Bad Batch taught her.
And she knows how to make stuffed animals from scratch.
Yes, she used all the hay
She
the.
grabbed some hay
dogs
from
and
the
stuff.
hay barn and made a little teddy bear,
The
which I
little
thought
teddy
was a
that
cute
that
thing.
record gave her. Yeah.
But anyway, her and Crosshair get out of the ray shield and they're in the jungle, and which I thought this was smart on Crosshair's end. He sees the Emperor's shuttle leaving. He's
Yeah.
like, let's just follow the flight path. We're gonna run into the fucking ship.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I was like, I would not have thought of that.
I wouldn't
if
have
that was
either.
me. I would have been
I
like,
wouldn't have either.
fuck, where we gotta look. And I would have gotten lost and died.
And
eventually.
so they got out. They're looking for the shuttle that crashed in episode 1,
yeah,
I believe.
at the beginning, which we didn't really get anything
who gives a
from
fuck?
that. There wasn't even anything cool in
it
there.
went nowhere.
It just crashed and the people died. And they're
Yep.
like,
and then we get to the ship, and
were
the
like-
ship couldn't even move either.
too bad, you're dead. Turned off your comms.
And then we get to the ship, and then Omega's like, "Damn, we can't use this ship."
And then Hemlock sends in everybody.
All the clone commandos.
All the
yeah.
clone commandos with their little like TK troopers.
Dogs, yeah.
And then the dogs. And the dogs start throwing
Yo,
hands.
yeah, the moment
with
they see that other thing, they started
They're
all
like-
fighting, bro.
They were like, what was that? Liu
was on
Kang?
sight, bro.
Liu Kang, you're dead. You're dead. And they started
It was
fighting.
so on sight.
And having on-screen beef battle.
And I'm gonna give a big shout out to Crosshair for throwing straight hands with every trooper in that bitch.
Bro.
No gun, just straight hands because he was missing shots.
Bam. Yeah, he got
He's
some
shaky.
sort of an anxiety on his.
Yeah, he's shaky.
His trigger finger.
I think it's from getting burnt.
Is it?
It's
I don't
half
think
of his
no.
face
He's-
getting burnt
He
up.
still was.
Yeah, he was
sniping
still. I
people.
know.
I think it's because he's not. He hasn't
Just been
handled.
chilling in the cell all day.
No, he hasn't handled the trauma of betraying his brothers, hunting down his brothers,
Yeah.
and then abandoning, like not taking the chance to go with them. He's like, nah, I'm gonna stay here until the Empire pick me up.
Because he thought the Empire was gonna be nice to him.
And they weren't. They
were not.
treated him like shit so
They don't
many
give a fuck about
times.
the clones.
He even that episode we had of him in the snowy
Yep.
place where he shot that
That other guy,
officer,
yeah. That's what put him in jail.
he was like, "Yo, the Empire don't give a fuck about me, bro. I've been riding or dying for these people," and I think he has some undealt with trauma that he needs to get through, and I hope he heals from that
Me too.
emotionally. And
What are
physically.
what are some of your predictions or recommendations for this
The
season?
season? This is what I'm gonna tell you right now, Fabrian.
Because sometimes your
My shit's be
theories are right. Yeah, your
My
theories
shit's
be right.
Because you know why? Because I should be making these goddamn movies, Fabrian.
Maybe you should
I'm
apply, bro.
gonna wear my Dave Filoni hat next
Go
time
do
we
it, bro.
talk about the Bad Batch.
If
I'm
you
gonna bring
become
it.
the head of Star Wars, motherfucker,
That'd be crazy.
We'd be set.
From Idle Talk,
Yes.
head of Star Wars. I'm
We'd
like,
be set, bro.
if Fabrian gonna call me, I'm not gonna pick up because I'm Hollywood. Like I don't got time. I'm writing fucking Star Wars 26. What I think is gonna happen is we're gonna get an obvious moment where Crosshair goes from fucking shaky hand to fucking boom straight back to who I was. He's gonna have this like little moment where something important is gonna happen and it needs to fall on Crosshair, and he's gonna fucking fix it and get the job done.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be a pivotal point in the series because this is the last season, so something's gotta pop off.
Something has to happen.
What I said earlier when we were watching episode 1 is like, what if we got the Clone Rebellion arc instead of on Camino, on Mount whatever Tantarus, whatever this
Mount
place
Tansis.
Tansis. I'm like, I could see that happening here because I could feel like we do see it eventually in the Mandalorian, right?
Yes.
So we know that location doesn't go to shit.
Not yet.
Not yet, at least. So I feel like there needs to be some kind of battle that gets us there, and I feel like a Clone Rebellion would be.
I want to see one. I don't think there is one though.
Well, we know Rex and Echo.
I know they're doing something.
They're doing something.
Yeah, true.
If they're making the Clone Rebellion or not, who knows? If they just need the last few prisoners from in that place.
But the problem with Rex, right, is that we also know where Rex ends up because of Rebels, right? So we do know that he does try to start a rebellion, gives up on it, and then ends up in a fucking weird planet with three other clones. I feel like
he gives up on it solely because they all died. So, like I said,
so you think Echo's gonna die?
I think.
Is Echo surviving? Is he in Rebels?
We don't see him, bro. We don't see him.
Oh, so they might kill him off.
Remember, Rebels was made before
I know.
Clone Wars season 7.
I know.
The last season, so we probably didn't think too much about them. But this is what I think is gonna happen. This is why Rex ends up on that planet with 3 random clones. Because how the fuck they got there? Like, where's Wolf right now? Did we see Wolf?
Isn't Wolf on the planet with him? It's Wolf, Gregor,
it's
and Rex.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, where did Wolf come from?
I don't know.
Because Gregor is with
Rex
right now.
I don't know where any of them are.
So Gregor is with Rex right now, currently. This is what I think is happening.
But Gregor becomes a fucking traitor in Rebels. He's the one that caused the Empire, asshole.
Yeah, piece of shit. But this is what I think is going to happen. We know we don't see the Bad Batch in any future Star Wars things.
This has to be their last.
Not yet, at least. But if they're going to make this as impactful of a story as possible, I think everybody needs to die.
Every batch member, even Omega.
In order to keep everything in line with how the story is going to play out. Because the Emperor doesn't win. He doesn't get the perfect body he desires to continue.
But he wins until the next trilogy, yeah?
It is. That's true. But
if you think his empire comes back with the First Order.
It does.
And he comes back to life like he won. He does win.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
But then he loses again.
He looks like shit.
He
looks like a zombie version of himself.
You're right. He does, but I don't think he's ever cared about the way he looks.
I know, but looks come with functionality. Like if you're looking like you're decomposing.
Yeah, you're right. He was like hanging on a whole
on a
thing.
meat hook.
Yeah, on a hook, on a big meat hook by the end of it. You're right.
So if you look like you're dying, you're probably dying.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, and so he doesn't get the full like potential
young man
of what
body that he wanted. Yeah, you're right.
And so I think we're gonna get a lot of emotional deaths, and I don't think they're gonna happen sprinkled apart in the season. I think the last 2 episodes were just
gonna kill a few people.
We're just gonna.
I might cry if they kill
Crosshair's gonna die saving somebody.
I don't want Wrecker or Hunter to die or
Wrecker's gonna probably die
rest in peace.
Like providing cover and then fighting 17,000 people.
Oh, that'd be cool though. If he goes out like a G, I'll be okay with it.
Like a Mandalorian death.
Yeah. If he goes out like the heavy gunner in Mando,
he's gonna go exactly like that.
If he goes out like a G like that, I'll be okay with it.
Word for word, bar for bar, he's gonna die that way. And then you know what would be super crazy if Omega gets captured and they're losing that little battle.
And she kills herself to save.
No, if Crosshair has a sniper, that would be fucking crazy.
To save
to save the world.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like
that would be sick, but I don't think Disney would ever do some shit like that.
I don't think
that would be so cool.
I don't think so either. But I'm like, if that were to happen, if he's just like finally stops fucking shaking, bow,
and shoots her,
that
would be a crazy moment.
I feel like that'll only make sense if Wrecker dies. Everybody else
Hunter
dies.
dies, and it's
Hunters
just
die.
Crosshair and
it's
Omega
just
left.
Crosshair making a lasting decision because he's gonna die too.
Yeah.
Just boom, gets her.
Like-
and then fucking
Like,
they
or like he's
clap
like,
him.
oh, he's always like, the mission isn't complete. Maybe that is. He's like, maybe the mission's complete until we foil the Emperor's friend. Yeah.
And it's not specific that you got to be alive to foil the plan.
Yeah.
It's never been fully stated
No,
ever in
because
any
Tech
in
literally
any
dies
of
last season saying the mission, whatever, like, and he shoots it. He shoots the wire to complete the mission.
To complete the mission. So, I think in a really, really perfect world, that's something that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It'll probably end up being Crosshair saves the batch and they escape, and then he gets killed, like executed for it.
Yeah.
Off screen, he just goes, and then you'll hear pew, pew, like a blaster.
Yeah.
And the series ends.
But then what would you would have? Then everyone would have
No.
questions for the rest of the batch.
Well, I would
Where
just
the
say,
fuck have they
I
been?
would just say that Wrecker dies anyway, and there'll just be Hunter and
Omega?
somewhere else. What the fuck?
Camera turned off.
Damn. What?
It's okay. We were finishing anyway, so let's just finish with audio and then
We're gonna wrap
we'll
this up.
record and then we'll do the next episode after.
But it said it had 2 hours left.
I
on
did,
the SD
yeah,
card.
I do remember that.
I don't know why
They
that
lying
happened.
to you.
What's good with this camera?
You might have to take it back, see what's
I
going
gotta
on
go
with the battery.
back to the phone.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
No, not the phone. I'm just saying, take this back to wherever you bought it and be like, "There's something wrong
I
with my
bought this
battery."
mad long ago.
Oh well.
Anyway, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's wrap this up.
Audio only. So
For the last like 10, 20 minutes.
10, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I want to wrap this up now.
Wrap up.
So yeah, that's where I think the episode is going. The season's gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
And did you close the window?
No.
My hands are kind of sweaty. So yeah, that's where I think it's gonna go. Quickly, I think I can move around while you talk. What do you think is gonna happen, Fabrian? Because I can hold mine. Oh god, I'm so sore.
What do I think is going to happen? I think for this season, what's going to happen is they're going to. I think the Bad Batch is going to go to the old lab, the one that they just escaped, and I think Hemlock is going to then use the Bad Batch to make the other clone come back, like Omega and Crosshair, because he can't kill them. Like we saw in the last episode, that he specifically called off their fighters, right? Because if he lets her die, Palp would have his ass for it, right? So I think he's going to try his best to make them come back. So I think they're going to go try to save her, capture her, and then they're going to do the whole, oh, save me, Hunter. And then I think it's going to be what you said. We're like, in order for them to save all each other, I don't think anyone's going to make it out, but they're going to all die and like
and a blaze
and
of
destroy,
glory.
and destroy the Empire's plan. That is my prediction for this season coming up.
That makes sense. I think it was a nice few episodes.
I like 2 and 3 were good.
They were good, and I think that we've run into that problem previously where the episodes just don't feel worth waiting for.
Yeah, I
And
feel like they
so-
should just drop the whole. Yeah, I agree with you. I think they should drop the whole season like they
But
did
then
with.
money.
Yeah,
Where's the money in that?
streaming
Fabian?
services need to make the
We
money.
need to make the cash. We need to squeeze every dollar out of America as swiftly and quickly as possible.
Very true.
So that doesn't make sense, Fabrian. It doesn't make sense. We can't.
It doesn't make sense for Disney, no.
We're burning money at this point. My iPad is on 7%. God damn.
So I guess we should charge everything.
No, I mean my battery's still for my phone. I mean for my camera is still good. I just
Orlando.
don't know.
Log us off.
I don't know, bro.
And the episode.
And the episode.
Log us
Well,
off.
I'm hoping to see next episode. I don't know. I hope they don't reunite immediately. I hope that at the, you know how some shows will be something will happen and then something is happening at the same time
On like in another location
in
or
a
something.
location. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping Hunter and Wrecker are meeting up with Rex and Echo, and they're doing something.
And then they find
at
out
the
that it's-
end of the episode, it's like beep beep beep, like a little beep,
But
like
they find out that
transmission,
they got-
transmission.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's what I'm hoping.
You know what?
happens.
That'd be way more.
Then them just like Omega.
Yeah. Let's go Seaver.
Yeah, so-
Same thing over and over.
Yeah,
And
so-
every.
Every fucking episode, man.
All right.
So I'm hoping that's what happens. I'm hoping that we get that kind of conclusion, and that.
Thank you guys for listening.
So we'll see you on the next
Streets.
Bad Batch
Peace
episode.
on.
This
Love
is
ya.
basically a podcast. Episode.
Bye-bye.
This is supposed to be a mini.
End it now though, because I got to dump, dog.
Okay, take the mic with you, of
I'm not
course. so we
taking
can
the
hear
mic
you
with me, bro.
shit yourself.
Just end it.
All right. Well, Fabian's gone. Everybody, let me talk to you real quick. Today we had some Jersey mics, and it was fire. So shout out to that guy that gave us a discount. He was awesome. And we'll see you guys on the next mini. And then maybe we'll drop an Idle Talk regular episode soon. But for the meantime, code IDLETALKPOD saves you 20% on Redcon's One website. Get your MRE protein shakes for the low using code IDLETALKPOD. And we'll see you on the next Bad Batch episode. Bye bye.